question: is truth knowable? And does it really matter?
Well, let's start by asking ourselves, where does truth comes from? Now, most would say, well, we get our information or truth comes from either science or from religion. Notice the word or. Friedrich Nietzsche coined the phrase God is dead by claiming that science and technology has gotten rid of God, because science, through the enlightened thinking, has eliminated the need for superstition or the supernatural. This has created animosity or a disagreement between science and religion, leading to many thinking that science is against religion, or the sources of truth can only come from science or from religion. Well, this is not the case. Albert Einstein said, I quote, "Science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind." See, Christianity and science goes together. But skeptics still continue to assert that the truth is based on facts, like scientific facts and scientific results, and what can be repeated and it can be tested in a laboratory, and that's the only way to truth. They also assert that religion cannot be tested and is only a matter of taste and preferences. They assert that religion, therefore, is based on a blind faith, meaning without evidence. Well, they are wrong. I'll give an example. When my daughter was about 2.5 years old, she was an active girl, and we used to play this game. I used to carry her and put her on the kitchen bench. Now, the kitchen bench would have been a fair way off the ground, and for a little 2.5-year-old girl, it's a long way up. And I would step back, and I'll stare her in the eye, and I say, "Jump," staring her in the eye. She would then bend over, saying, Dad, are you going to catch me?" And I would say, "Jump." And you would see a moment of silence in her eyes. She would be staring at me, and she'd be looking at me, and you can almost see her processing this information in her mind. You can almost see her saying, well, she's sizing me up. She's saying, well, this man calls himself a dad, and I know him for about 2.5 years. He says he loves me. Now, am I going to risk my life and listen to its instructions and jump? In other words, jump to his arms. I was asking my daughter to jump to me. Then momentarily, she jumps. And of course, I catch her, and she squeals with excitement. She runs away, and we spend another day playing in another game. Now, the reason why I'm using this example is I want you to think through what my daughter's mind would have been thinking through. She would not have all the information in her mind to make that decision to jump. She has certain information, but she certainly did not have all the information. For instance, she doesn't know whether I was capable of catching her. She doesn't know whether I was willing to catch her. But yet she made a decision to jump based on sufficient information. She risked her life based on sufficient information, plus a certain degree of trust in me, his dad. In other words, faith in me. You see, religion is just like that. It's based on sufficient information. It's not based on blind faith or no information at all. It's certainly not based on taste or personal preferences. There is abundance of evidence to support the truth from a Christian's point of view. That is why we can move religion away from opinion or personal preferences alongside with the category called truth. Because no one, including the scientists, no one can ever have 100% absolutely sure of information that they've got is true. Because no one can. You know, if you look at a pen and you let a pen go, you know it will fall to the ground because you know gravity. And you can make an assumption that anything you let go from your hand will fall based on a sum total of all our experiences. But we know gravity, or we say we know gravity, but we have not seen absolutely everything that gravity works everywhere in this world. We can make that assumption based upon evidence that we have and based upon evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that gravity works everywhere else in this world. We can make that assumption, but we cannot say that we know for a fact, absolutely 100% that gravity works in every corner of the world, because we've never seen nor experienced gravity at every, or been to every corner of the world. So in the end, it's about gathering sufficient information beyond a reasonable doubt. And the evidence gap between the absolute 100% and the evidence gathered is called faith. Some would call it assumption, but from a moralistic and a religious point of view, we call it faith. Faith is evidence-based with sufficient evidence beyond reasonable doubt. And with faith, we know that is what truth is. In Christianity, Jesus himself showed the importance of using reasoning and using the mind to understand what Christianity was all about. In Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18, quote, "Come now and let us reason together, says the Lord," unquote. In Mark chapter 12, verse 30, I quote, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind, and with all your strength," unquote. Christianity is not reason or faith. Therefore, Christianity is reason and faith. Christianity is a reasonable faith. True Christianity is a faith that is grounded on good, solid, ample, and adequate information. That is why we say that Christianity is never based on blind faith alone. So to answer the original question, can truth be knowable? Yes, truth is knowable, because truth, in a sense, is evidence-based. Moral truth, particularly, is evidence-based. It comes from both science and it comes from religion as well. They work together. There is no animosity between science and religion. Now we have a follow-up question. Does truth matter? Yes, it does. Truth matters because it affects our decision-making as human beings, and it influences our behaviors. So we need and we expect truth in our normal living. We expect bankers to tell us the truth about how much money we have in our bank. We expect our investors to be truthful about our investment. And when we buy a car, we expect honest answers from the people who are selling the car to us. When it comes to moral issues, truth is the same. It has a major impact on how we view the world and therefore how we behave. You see, what we believe or our basis of belief to be true can lead us to have good or bad or indifferent behavior. Our belief systems affect the way we behave and the way we live our life. It affects our moral being. Let's look at some quick examples. Let's look at the belief of karma. Some religion believe in karmic forces. Karmic forces is about you or a person having to repay or make good the sum of all the person's past and current actions. The karmic force is a divine force, and you do not interfere with people's karmic journey. So if somebody is suffering in this belief system, that is a karmic force. It's a divine force that's happening. And when you see that person suffering, you do not want to interrupt that karmic force. You do not want to interrupt the divine force. Here, and I'm making a general statement here, totally believing in that truth will then lead this people or this person to ignore suffering or see suffering as no more than a divine journey that you do not interfere. Compare it to Christianity, where the Lord has taught us that we are born equal in the eyes of the God, and you reach out to others who need help. If your finger hurts or you stub your toe, your whole body hurts, not just the finger or your toe alone hurts. So the Christians believe in unity. It believes that when somebody is hurting, you would try and alleviate that hurt. You would interfere to alleviate that suffering. So having that belief will lead some to helping others. So what this means is that with a particular belief system or worldview, it has a major impact on our thinking and therefore our moral behavior.
That's why truth matters, and that's why truth is knowable.